Hello, Patrick.
Hey Mark, how are you?
Patrick M. Powers.
Yes, it is indeed.
Well, thanks for coming on to Inspirational People on my blog. We met a couple of weeks ago at a meeting in London, and your story just blew me away. So I thought, this is something I want to share on my blog. So
Awesome.
where do we start? Where do we start with you?
Depends on how many hours you have.
I've got the whole afternoon now.
Yeah, we can start a little bit about where I'm from and my background. My weird accent is from Denmark, mixed with listening to too many motivational speakers, all the American and Canadian guys. And when I was young, I was extremely introverted and afraid of talking to people and very shy. Yet I wanted to start a business at 21. I don't know where I really had that from.
It wasn't in the family or anything like that?
No. Well, funny enough, my parents were actually, when I was born, they were actually self-employed until I was 5 years old. And then they're I don't know what you call this business in English, but it's basically a place. It's not a hotel. It's not a bed and breakfast, but it's something in between where people can actually stay long term. And my mom was, for some of them, she was cooking food for them as well. And I don't know I think there is a specific name for it.
I think it's called fostering in England.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking.
Right.
I'm joking.
No, okay, no, yeah. But anyway, so they had this place, and the property was, I think the word is expropriated by the government because they were building high rises in a certain area.
Yeah.
Really expanding the suburbs of Copenhagen. So they were forced to sell, and we moved to the countryside, which I'm really, really happy for because it was quite a city area. But I think because they struggled as self-employed, they barely stayed alive. They had an aversion towards me starting a business.
Right.
So they always try to scare me away from doing it. But at 21, so it's not like I had any experience growing up because again they moved away when we were 5, when I was 5. So yeah, I don't know really where I got it from, but I wanted to start a business. 21, started it, went bankrupt really, really fast.
What was it you started?
I've become really interested in holistic health.
Yeah.
So I was NLP therapy, all kinds of different types of massage, treating sports injuries with different machinery and massage and all that kind of stuff. And I loved doing it, but I just, I didn't know marketing. I didn't know sales. I was extremely introverted and shy. So that was not a good combination of starting a business. And lost my house, lost my car, everything.
The whole lot?
Yeah. The whole
wow.
lot. Yeah. It's actually funny because, when, I never had any experience in buying houses. I was just 21. It was just ridiculous that I thought I could succeed in business and all that. Somebody said when my house went on, I was forced to buy it. What do you call that? It's basically taken back by the bank.
Repossession.
Yeah, repossession, right. So I was told, hey, the houses will usually not get sold the first time they get on the auction and all that kind of stuff. And so I really wasn't worried. And lo and behold, the house was sold the first time, and I literally had 4 days to move out.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and in fact, I actually didn't find a place in 4 days. And the guys that bought the house came. It was actually a property investor that bought it, and he came and knocked on the door the 4th day and literally kicked me out. I think he gave me another day or something like that.
Nice.
So, fun times, man.
So that was your first taste of business.
Yeah.
Big lesson.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just going to jump ahead to now, and then we'll go back again because some people watching this might not know what you've done. For those of you watching this, Patrick he set up Entrepreneurs in London.
Correct.
Which is a meetup group about 5 years ago. Is that right?
Yep.
And it's the biggest entrepreneur meetup group in the capital, isn't it, at the moment?
It's the biggest business meetup in Europe.
In Europe, yeah. Yeah, I knew it was big.
About 10,400 members now.
That's amazing. So let's rewind then back to post bankruptcy. It didn't put you off then?
No, not at all. Because I really felt like what it was like to be self-employed and be your own boss, and it was just an amazing feeling to get up in the morning when I wanted to and work as long as I wanted to. Because I'm the type that when I get into something, I just really get absorbed by it and almost possessed by it. So sometimes working long hours into the night. But just that feeling of working for yourself is just amazing. So I started looking into like why did it go wrong, and what can I do better next time. And the more I've read, I've lived half my life there in the library, and so the more that I read, the more I figured out, okay, it's all has to do with marketing. It's business success. It has to do with marketing and sales. So I dedicated myself to learn that. But it was a bumpy ride because I was extremely shy and introverted. I think there was a lot of inner demons there that I had to overcome. I just learned to be confident. So that took many, many years, many attempts. I had many part-time businesses that also failed over and over and over again until about 11 years ago. I literally said, okay, this is it. I am so fed up with being broke. I cannot stand my life. I am going to change this. And I did really, really quickly.
Yeah.
I had a few tries actually I had several tries with network marketing. And I'd done some research to find a new network marketing company to join. Found one that was not in Denmark at the moment, unfortunately, but was in England. And it looked like the right one. Went to England to check it out, joined. Had my first meeting in 4 days. 7 people was there. 7 signed up, which is, if you know anything about marketing meetings and whatever, that's extremely unusual.
That's 100% conversion rate. It's not bad.
It was amazing, and it was just like it was incredible because because it was so new in the company, and I spent 6 days in the UK, where I slept a total of 24 hours in those 6 days. So that's 4 hours per day, because there was just so many meetings and so many things to learn. I came back, I was completely wiped out, and so I didn't have any time to prepare for this meeting after 4 days. I just basically showed up and said, hey guys, I haven't really had time to prepare any presentation, but this is why I think this is the biggest breakthrough in health, and why it's going to go far. And I just really shared from the heart, and I think people could feel that I was committed.
Yeah.
And that has become one of the biggest secrets to my success is commitment, just like 100% commitment and focus.
Well, it kind of exudes off you.
Yeah, it does. When people can recognize committed people. I don't know if they consciously think that's a committed person.
No, I think it's subconscious. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just attracted to committed people. Because I think most people in the world, they want to be led. They're looking for somebody to follow.
Yeah.
Because they're too afraid to lead themselves.
Yeah.
And so they're looking for somebody to follow. They're looking for causes to join. And when they meet somebody who's just completely committed to something, they sense it and they want to follow them.
Can I ask you what that product was? The health breakthrough.
Yeah, it was a supplement. It was from a company called Manatech.
Right.
So something that has to do with glyconutrients, which not many people still to this day don't know. But it was an amazing breakthrough, still is. I sold my position in that company about 6 years ago almost, I think. Yeah, about 6 years ago. And, oh my God, time flies. It's actually 6.5 years ago. Unbelievable. So I sold that. So fast forward, I lived the lifestyle. I had the fastest growing team and biggest team in Europe. Won all kinds of awards. 4,500 distributors and clients.
Wow.
Distributors and users in a year, and that also grew to 10,000 in a couple of years. And then I retired and became incredibly lazy and stupid.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Okay.
So then you went out of England, didn't you? At that point, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I only lived in England a short time anyway.
Yeah.
Because I had a girlfriend in New York. Actually, through that company, I met her through that network marketing company, and so I lived with her a lot of the times, for 6, 8, 12 weeks at a time in New York, and back and forth between New York and England. And then I moved to Spain for 6 months, and then I moved to where did I move? Oh my God, I lived so many places. St. Lucia, of course. St. Lucia for 5 months in the Caribbean.
Nice.
It's Dominican Republic, of course. That was after I actually sold the position. I think I became really, well, first of all, as I said, I became lazy and overconfident. And that's really one of the big lessons that I've learned in my life. Nothing lasts forever.
Dangerous combination.
Yeah. Overconfidence is just, and the funny thing is I've heard so many people, and my mentor said, first time rich, They make all these mistakes. They think they will last forever.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
So what happened then after that?
So I sold my position and decided now I was going to coach and train and do downloadable courses and all that. But I wanted to be in the Caribbean. I loved my time in St. Lucia, and I wanted to be in a place where it was a little bit more. I mean, it's a very quiet place. There's almost nothing going on. So I chose Dominican Republic. But it turned out to be one of the worst decisions of my life because the infrastructure there is horrible. Power goes a couple of times a day, and the internet speeds are incredibly slow.
Yeah.
So, I was basically basing my business on doing webinars and selling my services and products and downloadable whatever training programs I would create, would sell them via webinars to a large degree. And so the problem was, like, you're sitting there in the middle of the webinar and the power goes and the internet goes, bam. You're out.
Yeah.
That was it. So that didn't work, and I ran out of money, and I was completely broke. And I had a friend that bailed me out, and gave me the money for a ticket back to England, where I had the only money left in the world. Well, I had like £50 in the hand, £100, something like that. That's literally. I probably had about £100.
You had like two nights in a hotel or something. That's all you had.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was just so ridiculous. And so came back to England. The only money I had was in a safety deposit box in Kensington. I had £2,500, and so I used that for everything, like deposit for a room, buying a printer, whatever I needed to get my business started. And for the first 3 years, it just survived, literally.
What were you doing?
So I was trying to do some seminars and training and coaching, but it's hard when you don't have any contacts, any contact network. Because the times that I stayed in England, I was mostly focused on my network marketing business. Didn't really have many contacts in England. Actually, most of my organization was in Denmark, Germany, and the States. So it's just like selling my training and coaching and all that kind of stuff. That didn't work too well. But I mean, the reason why I started Entrepreneurs in London was because I needed more connections.
Yeah.
So that's all good and well, because I mean, I can just not imagine where I would be today.
Where does the pregnant cat come into it? Because that's the thing that really.
that was the thing. Oh my God, the pregnant cat! That's an amazing story.
I love that story.
All right, so I started Entrepreneurs in London, and it grew pretty well. But in the beginning, I was only the events were free, so I was just using it as a way to generate contacts for myself. And slowly, we started charging a little bit for the events, and they grew and it grew. Then in around July, in the spring of 2012, I was living in this horrible area of London called Canning Town. And it really is a dump, and especially the corner that I was living in. Some areas are actually quite nice now. But anyway, I had this horrible neighbor, and he was mistreating his cats. He had 2 cats. And so I started to feed them outside because he wasn't feeding them. You could literally see their the ribs sticking out.
Yeah.
And so I was starting to feed one of them, and since he was also abusing them and he was extremely violent, one of them just started hanging out in my backyard all the time, and it got pregnant. So I wasn't allowed to have cats in the house or any pets in the house for the landlord, but I thought, I cannot let this cat have its kittens outside. So I actually took it inside. Long story short, one of them had an injury. I don't know where. That's probably been playing with the other cats, whatever. Suddenly, its eyes started to swell up like crazy, like really, really bad. And I was just literally physically sweating because I was thinking, oh my God, I don't have the money to take, if it needs an operation or anything, I wouldn't have the money to have this cat operated. And I became extremely scared and angry with myself, like extremely angry. And I called one of my friends and said, oh, listen, I need money and I need it now. Will you invest in my business? And he said, sure. So he bought a small share and ran down to the bank and transferred £2,500 to me right away. And funny enough, just like in those couple of hours that took place, then suddenly the swelling of the eye starts to go away. But I decided to take that $2,500 and do something with it. So I put it into Facebook pay-per-click.
Yeah.
To drive traffic to our Facebook page. And that was literally the turning point. That was literally, my life is never the same again.
Amazing.
It just started exploding. Shortly thereafter, we've gone from doing events where we were 60 to 65 people, and shortly thereafter we did our first like big events, and there was about 120 people. That was in the Olympics, while the Olympics was on, and it was summer vacation time, and still we got 120 people there. So that was basically it. I had, before that, I tested pay-per-click on Facebook enough that I knew that it was profitable. It was just a small cash injection that enabled me to turn the volume up, and then it just went crazy.
And how was the cat?
I think it's living very well with one of my friend's ex-girlfriend. I kind of lost touch, but yeah, she actually had 2 litters. She had 3 the first time, in which all of them was placed in homes, and 4 the second time. And I actually kept one of them from the second litter. She's around here somewhere. She's sleeping. Pumpkin, come over, say hi. So that's it. So yeah, I was saved by a cat, I think.
That's brilliant.
I think it's really, like, sometimes it's really important that we instead there, there's lots of that like self-help and personal development and motivation out there that just say, accept yourself and forgive yourself and all kinds of good stuff, and that definitely has its place and value. But I think sometimes we actually need to do kind of the opposite and like become really, really brutally honest with our situation, instead of saying, yeah, it's all good, it's all going to be good one day. Really take a serious look and become angry.
Yeah.
I've actually several of the times in my life where I've grown a lot has come right after those situations where I just
same here.
Yeah, it's like, this is just not acceptable. I will not accept this, and you fucked up. You fucked up, and now I'm gonna fix it. That moment where you just you become really angry and say, this is going to change. It's going to change now.
Yeah.
I think that's some powerful moments, and I think we need to have more of those.
Yeah, they're like catalysts, aren't they? You just you're forced to take action.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to action, big action, I think.
Absolutely.
And also a little bit of fate and a pregnant cat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So entrepreneurs in London, what does that look like now? It's regular meetings, isn't it? And
yeah, we do about 2 to 3 meetings a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. And basically, we try to at least every 3 or 4 weeks to do a social event. We call them Entrepreneurs Night Out, where we just hang out in a bar and just network, brainstorm, have fun. Just casual, very casual, no structure to it. And I think that's really valuable because many times we connect better when we just relax and we have a drink or we over food or whatever. And
it's not
really fun.
Yeah, it's not got that. I'm not a big fan of networking meetings. Those meetings when you swapping the cards and introducing people and having lunch, and it sounds like a lot more fun than that.
Oh yeah, oh my God, yeah. Sometimes people just won't leave, and like one time because somebody took me to a private club, something like next to where we were, and suddenly I just missed my last train. I mean, sometimes we have to kick people out, like 11 o'clock, 11:30. So
fantastic.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fun with it.
Well, I think it's I love hanging around with other entrepreneurs, people that you can relate to and learn from, because it really accelerates everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so necessary. Like, again, as I said before, my family thought that was crazy. And I think lots of entrepreneurs in that situation, that their friends and family don't understand. They don't understand them, and they feel alone. They feel kind of deserted. And so getting into that environment where people understand you, appreciate you, accept you, even look up to you, and they're inspired by your struggles and your fight and all that kind of stuff. That is just incredible, and it's something that we need. Because if we stay around negative people all the time, we will tend to start buying their story.
It sort of goes in by osmosis. But I mean, if I think back on my business career, every single thing that I said I was going to do, I had a crew of people saying, not only thinking I was crazy, but actually telling me not to do it.
Yes.
No, you can't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't do it?
Yeah.
Go away.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's really
most
weird.
of the world are like that. But I guess it's because they are afraid to see you fail, and so they kind of just want to have you stay there. So I think it's, of course, it's self-serving for them, but I think they also, most of the time at least, do it out of a good heart.
Yeah, I agree with that. Trying to protect you, but nothing got done by not doing anything, did it?
Absolutely.
So you teach marketing and copywriting. That's your big passion, isn't it? Copywriting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I find copywriting really interesting because very few because I do most of my stuff on the internet, and very few websites have good copy on. It's incredible.
Yes. It is just.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't.
Most basics.
I've been teaching stuff for 8 years, and I'm still saying the same stuff now I was 8 years ago. It just amazes me. It just amazes. And copywriting is the number one conversion factor on a website, for example.
And it's the least appreciated, I think.
Yeah.
By beginners and intermediate business people.
Yeah, they don't like paying for it, do they?
Well, it's not that they don't like paying for it; they just don't understand the value.
They don't see the value. That's why they don't like paying for it.
They don't understand it. They think it's all like, oh, we have to learn Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. They're into all the platforms and understanding all the technical stuff, or into like creating flashy graphics and like really beautiful graphics and spending tons of money on like advanced functions on the website. It's just incredible. I just don't get it.
I just did a job for a company. I'm not going to mention their name, but they spent. We charged them £12,000 to do their website, and they thought that was a lot of money, and it's not for what we're doing. It's a very good value, but they just spent £30,000 on a logo, right? that nobody in the company liked. £30,000 on a logo, and I said, if I showed you the logo, you could have done it. You could have done it in paint.
That's insane.
It's just nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just don't get it. When like you get it, I know that. But so few people get how important the words are. It's everything.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Like one of my recent clients, Paul Atherton, one of the best sales trainers and coaches in the UK. He's personally sold £57 million worth of products and services.
That's not too shabby.
And led a sales team to sell £102 million in 1 year. 500 salespeople, so that's over $2 million per salesperson. He's really, really good. But he's been the corporate sales trainer. So recently he became independent with his own company, and he didn't know how to market it, and so he hired me. And one of the first things that I did is just like, look, your tagline sucks.
Yeah.
And so I started working on that. And by understanding his story, his uniqueness, and all that kind of stuff, I did a couple of sessions with him to really fully understand him. Suddenly just came to me, the tagline, gets you to yes with less stress.
Nice.
And then the following day, I thought, oh my God, we got to build a whole brand around this stressless sales. So I ran to Google to see whether it was taken as a domain, stresslesssales.com, and it wasn't. And since we implemented the name Stressless Sales and Gets You to Yes with Less Stress, his business just like skyrocketed like crazy. And so that's the power of words, choosing the right words.
Wow. Maybe we should do this after this call, but I was just driving to the house to do this interview with you today after my flotation tank, and which I just told you about before the call.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit spaced out. And I'm filming a products a week on Monday, and it's basically an online version of a seminar that I've been doing for a few years, and I call it the Technophobe's Guide to Internet Marketing. And I was like, I'm gonna do a test. I'm gonna put it up on the blog and see if anybody can come up with a better name, because I don't think it's a great name. But sometimes you like it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Right. Okay. I'll take that. Because there's just so many business people I meet that just go, I just don't understand it. It's too complicated. Yeah. And I try to make it, I call them technophobes, and try to make it understandable. Yeah. But okay, well, if you like it, then that's I might keep it then.
No, if you're absolutely right. There are so many people they're so scared about technology, and in many cases, like they think, you know, like for example, just learning Aweber or something basic like that. They're scared of it because they think it's like a lot of technical stuff. It's not. It's just remembering stuff, like remembering where to click.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's very, very basic, but they're overwhelmed just by the thought of doing it. And yes, it can be overwhelming. You try to set up your own blog or whatever because there's so many options. But if you have somebody show you, like, you only use 5% of the options that are there.
Yeah.
And literally just click there.
Well, that's I've got a blogging DVD that I just put on the website this morning of a seminar I did a few years ago, and that's like 6-7 hours of me talking about blogging. And if you go online and try to learn to blog, it's hugely technical. People get really into the weeds about it. And actually, most entrepreneurs just need to know, like, press these 3 buttons, that's it.
Exactly.
That's all you need to actually know.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all overcomplicated. And I think that's the same with any kind of subject, like even copywriting. That's people find that quite a technical subject as well. But actually, it's common sense. All of it's common sense, isn't it? But that's quite uncommon in business.
Common sense is very rare.
So,
and really, copywriting and marketing in general is about psychology.
Yeah.
And I think that's I definitely, that was why I was attracted to it also, because of my background as a psychotherapist and using NLP and all that. I just find it fascinating. The whole mind is just incredible.
No, it is.
And understanding how to take a word or a sentence and change a little bit with it, and then suddenly you get a completely different response. I find it so fascinating.
It is. It's extraordinary.
Did I tell you the headline? Put more romance into your life. Did I tell you about that?
Can't remember.
Oh, okay. So how could you change this headline, put more romance into your life, with one letter and increase the response rate by 300%? All right. And you can change, subtract. You can add, subtract, or change a letter.
What was it? Get more romance into your life.
Put more romance into your life.
Changing one letter.
Yeah.
Put more romance into your life. Oh, you got me now. I'm on tape. Can I pause and come back?
A lot of men will say, "Put more romance into your wife."
Yeah.
Or put more romances, but that's not it.
No, that's not right. Puts. Yes.
Right. Why? Because we're lazy, and that implies that something is doing it for us.
Yeah.
Something or somebody is doing it for us, right?
Love it.
So, and that supposedly increased the response rate by 300%.
Doesn't surprise me.
No.
Does not surprise me.
Because the first one is just a basic command. It's like, put more romance into your life.
Yeah, it's like telling you to do something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just like incredible. So that, there could be the difference between just one letter. This really can be the difference between a campaign that completely bombs or make you rich.
Yeah.
Literally, a campaign that can make you rich because it can, the 300% difference. You'll have a campaign maybe that you can keep on going on with for years and years and years.
Absolutely.
And make tons and tons of money. So
it's like with websites,
Why I'm excited and passionate about.
Well, exactly. I mean, I love seeing websites that say, "Welcome to this website. We've been established since." I'm like, it's just like, oh, come on, this is so easy.
It is.
And I try to teach people, you've got to be what's in it for me. You've got to think about the customer, what they're thinking about, what do they want, because they just want a solution. They don't want to hear about you, do they?
Absolutely, and a call to action.
Yeah.
And again, why should they take that call to action? Like, what's the reason? What am I going to get out of taking this action?
Yeah.
And if you just have this nice website with, hey, this is what we're about and we're great and all that, completely, like, close to worthless. Not completely worthless, but close to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I saw on Facebook yesterday you put a picture up of, it looked like Chicago to me. It said my next home.
That
was
Panama City.
Oh, it's Panama. Right. Yes, we did talk about Panama, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm headed to Panama myself, but I can't get there because my wife won't go that far away from her folks.
Okay.
So we're moving to North Africa. I can't quite get to Panama, but I'm on the way there.
Okay. So
I'll see you there.
Vacation? Oh, for vacation?
No, I don't want to live there. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Have you seen a website called sovereignman.com?
You sent the link to it, and I just briefly scanned through it. Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
it's phenomenal. He goes on about Panama being just the best place on earth to be at the moment.
I think it really is. I mean, of course, it depends on what you want, and
Yeah.
what you like, but on many counts, it really is a quite amazing place. I mean, just for me as an internet marketer, coach, and trainer, and all that kind of stuff, it's 0% tax on all money made outside of Panama. 0% tax.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. You can't really beat that, can you?
You can't.
Low cost of living, great infrastructure. You know, it just has everything.
The government doesn't annoy you. They don't get their fingers in the banks are safe. The banks have actually got money.
Yeah,
they're not printing money.
It's the second largest offshore domicile in the world. Only Hong Kong is bigger.
So what happens to entrepreneurs in London when you go there?
I'll be back in London 4 times a year.
Yeah.
For about 3 weeks. So in those 3 weeks, I'll continue to, of course, do as many events as I can. And then in between, I will have somebody run it for me with less frequency than normally, probably once a month.
Fantastic.
We'll see about that. I'll already have a couple of people that could take it over.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to do anyway for a long time is not just like run lots of talks and events. Like I wanted to do more serious trainings, in-depth stuff, really teaching people the advanced stuff on copywriting and marketing strategies and all that kind of stuff. So I'm getting much more into that. So it's a good step for me because for me it's fun running events, but I'm introverted. I'm actually still I'm not shy anymore, but I'm still introverted. That means that if I'm around a lot of people for an extended amount of time, I just completely stress out. I need to be with myself to recharge my batteries from time to time. So running too many of those events, it's not good for my mental health.
Yeah, I find it quite. Yeah, I love it, but it is exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be if it's too much. You know, like if it's one night, then it energizes me. But if it's 2-3 nights in a row, or a couple every single week or something, then it becomes stressful and it becomes work. And who likes work? It's a 4-letter word.
It is. Fuck, it is. So, what have you got any products that people can buy online?
They literally, I wouldn't say it will, but probably tomorrow. So probably by the time people listen to this, there will be Marketing Transformation Club. If they go to marketingtransformationclub.com, it's the monthly subscription, and they can actually get. Right now, they can get a free trial. If you listen to this later on, maybe it's not free, but it's a cheap trial.
Yeah.
And it's also a cheap monthly rate, somewhere between about £47 a month.
Cool.
And they will get downloadable videos, and they will get a one monthly Q&A session over webinar.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's unlimited Q&A by email. So that's the thing that I'm launching right now. I have lots and lots of trainings coming up. The Irresistible Pitch, which is about how to pitch. Like we're doing an amazing elevator pitch. There's much more than that. It's just like really finding uniqueness, like I did for Paul Atherton, like finding that thing that really hits home in the marketplace. And then, of course, Irresistible Emails, which is one of my signature training programs. So it's a training and coaching program on how to write incredible emails.
Can I ask you a question? What's your best converting subject line?
I can't remember.
No?
I can't remember, but I know what my best, that's a long time since I've taken a look at this. I know the best converting email campaign I ever done converted 20% of the list into buyers.
That's extraordinary.
I was quite pleased with myself when I did that.
I mean, most people wouldn't get 20% opening rate, let alone buyers.
Exactly. Let me see if I can actually find it.
I think it's worth talking about that as well, because I think companies and get their emails strategy so wrong, don't they?
Yeah,
they
horribly boring.
Capitalized words so it looks like it's from a company, and then it's all sequential logic instead of emotional logic, and no call to action. And a lot of people get obsessed with this idea of doing a newsletter once a month that's got 20 things in it. Nobody's got the time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's still
I have it here, actually.
Yeah?
It was 3 emails. There was possibly a 4th one, which I haven't included here. So this was a training. It was a relatively cheap training for network marketers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the first one was tap into a totally untapped market. Okay, so that was the headline. the subject line. Okay, the second email was no chickens allowed.
I like that.
And I actually primed it for that because there was a whole series where the following, they were kind of connected. So I was saying here at the end of the second, the end of the first email, I just look out for the mail with the details soon that says no chickens allowed. So they were already being made aware that this was the headline or the subject line, that was going to come, were the details of how to join.
Yeah.
Because the first one they couldn't join. That was just like basically building up the suspense.
Yeah.
Right. So
you've got to create the desire.
Second.
You've got to create the desire.
Yeah. And the third one was the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Yeah, that will never fail.
Not for men, at least.
No. Fantastic.
So I've done a couple other ones here. Subject was in the dead of night, where really like almost like wrote like it was a novel.
Yeah.
In fact, the opening line here in the email was, I was abruptly awakened by a loud knock on the window. For a second, I didn't know where I was, and to my disappointment, I was not in my bed, but instead in my taxi. I had fallen asleep and waiting for customers in the middle of Copenhagen, Denmark. When I was a taxi driver, right?
Yeah.
So it's really like a story.
Sounds like Edgar Allan Poe at the beginning. It's brilliant.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Well, everybody loves a story.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I wanted to interview you, because your story is just fantastic.
Thanks.
I know, and it's going to carry on. And so, if people want to keep in touch with you, what's your Twitter handle?
If they want to keep in touch with me, don't connect with me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Mike, they can. It is Patrick M. Powers, M like in Martin.
Yeah, but you will post up stuff like when you release these products, you put them on Twitter and stuff.
Sometimes I will.
You don't. You're telling me you forget to put things on Twitter?
I do. I'm too lazy. But soon I'll have an assistant to do all that kind of stuff. The best way to connect with me is on Facebook.
Cool.
For sure. It's just facebook.com, of course.
I've spent 8 years slagging Facebook off. I call it CIA book, but I've spent about £80,000 on Facebook advertising. I spend about an hour a day on Facebook now. Absolutely, it really is powerful.
It's funny because that's exactly the kind of same story with me. I thought it was ridiculous to be in Facebook. Like, who the hell would want to spend time on Facebook? I remember my niece, like 6 years ago, said she spent like 2 hours a day on Facebook, and I said, "Get a life."
Yeah.
And I must admit, I wouldn't be there for personal reasons. I'm only there for business.
That's the only reason I opened an account. But now I find myself. Just before the phone call, I just got a message from an ex-girlfriend 25 years ago on Facebook. I was like,
"Oh, wow.
Oh my God, that's amazing."
Yeah.
She's aged well.
It's great. Yeah, but Facebook is fantastic. It's the network that
it is, isn't it?
That mimics the real world the closest. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so good, because it is the closest to the way that we relate and connect in the real world.
Well, look, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Likewise.
And I'm very much looking forward to meeting you again, maybe a few beers next time. And
yes.
If I don't see you in London, I'll definitely see you in Panama.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I really hope it's going to be soon. It's just going to be a matter of how well some of my products launch here in the next couple of weeks. And then hopefully in about 3 to 4 months, I'll be gone.
I have no doubt they're going to do really well. And I really appreciate your time, Patrick. Take care of yourself.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much for being here.
See you, mate. Bye.
Yeah.